Well, here I am again, working without a net. This is not scripted. This is just me once again saying what's on my mind. There's a lot of people going around on the internet, social media, posting about how bad socialism is, and how it's going to ruin the country, and how it works so great in Europe and other places, and it should work good here. Well, this is going to stun some of my readers and viewers and friends, probably even some family. Socialism is here, right here in the United States, right now. And if you really look hard at me, oh hell, if I really look hard at me, you'll find out I'm a good socialist man. I don't work. I'm free to do whatever I want. And a lot of times it's sitting on my ass at home and maybe doing videos. I'm on the dole. I get a government check from the Veterans Administration because I have a disability. I'm going to try to tell you how I got that disability. I went in for the intake interview and sat with a psychologist, and I was having a bad day. It was like 100 degrees in Vegas, and we were driving around and around to find this place finally. I wasn't in a good place. And I went in. I was fairly honest. I answered all the questions, honestly. And then there came a question. Do you pay your bills as well as you think you should? And I said, no. That did it. VA says I'm 70% disabled now for depression. Don't get me wrong, I'm dysthymic. I have long-term depression. I have that diagnosis, but they missed it completely. They labeled me financially irresponsible for the answer of that question. And they didn't answer or ask the follow-up question, why? And I would have said, well, if you lose $85,000 worth of annual income within 3 weeks, you can't pay your bills as well as you think you can either. It's been 5 years since that fate-filled conversation, and I'm now 90% disabled. And I'm disabled for all the things I don't think I have. And they ignore the things I do have. And, well, I moved. I moved from Vegas to South Carolina. In Vegas, I was diagnosed with diabetes and sleep apnea. I was going to a nail clinic, and my doctor upgraded that to going to a podiatrist for the nail clinic, and the podiatrist was monitoring me and making sure that I don't lose my feet to diabetes and nerve damage. I had orthopedic shoes. I was doing fairly well, and I moved here. And in a different VA hospital, socialized medicine said, well, you're diabetic, but there's nothing wrong with your feet, and you don't need orthopedic shoes. And you're not disabled. I had a handicap sticker in Vegas, no such thing here. Now, how can a doctor who diagnoses me in one place, and then I move, and a doctor in another place says I don't have those conditions? They didn't change. If nothing else, they got worse. If you want that free health care, this is what it is. I'm an Army brat. I've always had socialized medicine through the military. When I was in high school, I got a concussion while wrestling. and my mom took me to the emergency room at Fort Ord Silas B. Hayes Hospital. And we sat there from 5 o'clock in the afternoon to 10 o'clock at night waiting to be called. And a janitor noticed that we had been there that long and went and got somebody to see me. And of course, I didn't have a concussion. Then I joined the military, socialized medicine again. And, well, they're not trying to fix you, they're just trying to get you back to work. I stood nuclear alert one time and they sent a psychiatrist dressed as a pilot in to ask us questions. Is there a drug problem here at Han? No, said Marco. We get all the drugs we want. Psychiatrist was appalled. Well, yes, of course we do. We're in charge of nuclear weapons, and we have to be there. And the Medical Hobby Center or the Medical Health Self-Help Store would give us anything we wanted to make sure we went back to work, except stuff that would actually cure or fix the problem. It's like they say in Iraqi horror, we can cure the symptoms, but not the source. I screwed up that. But you know what I mean. Look it up. Google it. What the hell. I'm married, and we were in Laughlin, Texas, 3 miles off the Mexican border. Something crawled across the desert. I never get headaches. And one night, I was helping with the spaghetti, and I went to taste some of the spaghetti, and it felt like somebody put a knitting needle in one ear and pulled it out the other. I was fucked up. I tried to tough it out. Didn't want to go in. Too late. And by the time I'm crying beside the bed, banging my head against the wall to make it go away, my wife finally convinced me to go see the ER. And I went in. I told them what was happening. And the two guys behind the counter, they tried to help me as much as they can. I said, is this life-threatening? And I said, I don't know. I don't get headaches. Yes. So they checked me in, and I sat on the gurney there for about, I don't know, half an hour. And then this colonel walks in, doctor. And the first thing he says to me is he holds up my charge sheet and goes, you woke me up for a fucking headache? He wrote me up for ER abuse. I went home. It was 5 o'clock. And sick call cranked up at 7. And though my wife begged me to go back to the hospital, because not only did I have a headache now, I had a fever. Fuck you, man, I'm not going back. So I stood in the cattle call, the line for socialized medicine. Sick call. And I was in that line when I passed out. I woke up in a chair with an ammonia capsule under my nose. They rushed me back. They took blood samples. And I got to spend the weekend in the hospital. And my prescription was Tylenol with codeine on the button. As much as I want for as long as I want. I spent my weekend unconscious. And I was discharged on Monday morning. 3 people also got this nondescript virus, including the woman that took my blood sample. To this day, do I know what I had? Nope. But I was good to go. I was back on the flight line. I was back at work. Socialized medicine. Then hepatitis crawled across the Mexican border. And the base set up a program where these are the symptoms, and if you get them, call this number. It's not the normal appointment hotline. It's the Red Rocket hotline. Call us. We'll get you in right away. And lo and behold, my wife came down with the symptoms. So we got our Red Rocket appointment and we went in. Well, we had to wait overnight, but that's okay. And overnight, I started getting the symptoms. So to killed two birds with one stone. I sat side by side with her. We had the same symptoms. And the doctor wrote a set of prescriptions for me about that high, no joke, to get me back to work. And then turned to my wife and says, I think you have feminine problems. We're going to make an appointment with OBGYN for you. That's socialized medicine. You want to be controlled like that? I got the drugs. I went home and shared them with my wife. We spent a week laying on the floor trying to decide who was going to crawl over to the baby and change his diaper. It was fucking hell. But the health care was free. So you really want America to be socialized, to be a truly socialized socialist country? For many reasons, we're already socialist. Started back with FDR and the New Deal, and it's gotten better and better and better. Lyndon Johnson's war on poverty brought welfare. That was pretty cool. And you can live off the government dime, like I do. But make sure you accept the terms. They give you just enough. There will be no vacations. There will be no extra spending. It's a fixed income, and it's just enough to pay for rent and maybe a car. I'm trying to stay calm here. I really am. It just pisses me off. Oh, well, Germany has free health care. Sweden has free health care. Finland has free health care. England has free health care. Why couldn't we have it? Well, it's a thing called economy of scale. Those are tiny countries compared to the United States of America. Do you understand that? If you've been paying attention to the news lately, we pay for their defense. So they don't have to budget that. They can throw more money at the social programs. Yeah, so it'll be just like here. But I'm going to give you something to think about. If socialism works in Europe, because we're paying for something they need to pay for, if America becomes socialist and we run out of money, whose sugar daddy are we going to go to for more bucks? China? Do you think the countries all equally share their wealth back and forth to make sure that socialism exists? Go ask somebody in Venezuela. This is fucking bullshit. The best health care I ever had was when I had a Cadillac health plan through the Teamsters, through my job. It was so fucking good. I had an emergency appendectomy, and it was paid for, and I didn't even know how. I thought it was on my old health insurance, and I had to pay a premium, a copayment. No, it was on my new health care. Took 6 months and a couple of conference calls to sort out which health care to use, but it wound up being free. Obama came in and took that right out from under me. And for that matter, the job that provided it. Because everybody's supposed to be on the dole. And it's not fun. I'm 60 fucking years old. Who's going to hire me? I can barely walk, but the VA doesn't say that's a disability. I can barely breathe, and the VA doesn't say that's a disability. But I'm depressed. And that's a disability. How the fuck do you think I'm depressed? I want you to think about that next time you want to spot out how good the left is and how great it is to be in the Democratic Party. How great it'll be to kick Trump out of office. Trump's a businessman. He's trying to put America back in the black. And all the loony left and their social democratic party, all they want to do is to have everybody get a check from the government and everybody be under their thumb. Why do you think they have a hard-on about illegal immigrants? They come from a socialist country. They expect it here, and they give it to them, only to remind them, don't forget to vote for the Democratic Socialist Party, and we'll keep cutting you checks. So what I'm going to do about it? I don't play well with others. I'll grant you that. So I started a business, and my business is my blog. It is a business. And although I ask for donations, I'm really asking for payment of services. If you've liked this video or the other ones I post for humor, or any of the informational or humorous posts I put on the blog, donate. Pay me. Help me replace the government dole so I can have my life again. That's what this is all about. Buy a fucking t-shirt, a sticker. I had Google ads on my site, but apparently I'm too far to the right for Google's taste. They refused, well, they took away the ads because I posted something about breast cancer awareness. And they said they don't allow nudity. Fuck, they allow beheadings. They allow child porn. They allow a lot of things, but God damn it, don't be for the country. So right now I'm experimenting with Patreon. You sitting right there. You, and a couple of other people, and a couple of other people after that. If you all chip in $5, you will markedly change my lifestyle. It's not much. And God bless you if you do it every month. Right now, this website maintains itself most of the time. It went dark last month because I had to pay for it for a change. With the few stickers and t-shirts I sell, and some donations on the puppy, because I do get them, far and few between, but I do get them. The site is just breaking even. It's still a hobby site because it really doesn't make money. I want you to change that. I want you to change that with a donation that's a protest against those fucking idiots that want you on the government dime too. I'm not kidding. I'm also not kidding about the fact that I hope you enjoy this video. And I hope I do make you laugh. Depressed people, people with issues, they always make the best comics, best comedians. And then they usually kill themselves, which I won't do. My God says that he'll lock me out of heaven if I do that, so that ain't going to happen. Well, I've ranted a little bit, and I've tried to stay calm, and I've tried to communicate clearly. And more importantly, I tried to give you some things to think about. Because it's coming down to that. In the military, we always train for the last war to fight the next war. Everybody's expecting a civil war that looks like the blue and the gray in Gettysburg all over again. Ain't gonna happen. Same way they stopped assassinating presidents with Kennedy, and they outed them, kicked them out, forced them to resign with Nixon, and now they're doing that anything means possible to create an open revolt against the current legally elected president that was chosen by the majority of the United States citizens. Marx said, if you can't beat them in the ballot box, beat them in the courts. And if you don't beat them in the courts, take it to the streets. And right now the left is taking it to the streets. And some on the right, I proudly mentioned Proud Boys, Google it, they're fighting back with their hands literally tied. They want to go interact with an Antifa demonstration. The cops make them not bring guns or sticks or knives or chains or anything to defend themselves with. Women can't bring pepper spray, and all they can do is go in there with vests and eye protection. Antifa can bring anything they want. That's how Hitler took power. The brown shirts, the thugs that went out in the street and beat people into submission till they didn't want to get involved. Just let them have their way. Antifa are the brown shirts of the leftists. And they're in the streets and they're leading an insurrection. And it's going to go kinetic. God help them. If one of those idiots on the left bring a gun to one of these goddamn protests, you can bet your bottom dollar there's going to be return fire. And then we're in a world of shit. Because it won't be the North against the South. Most experts say that we're ripe to split into the worst kind of civil war 3 ways that destroyed Czechoslovakia and produced Bosnia-Herzegovina. It'll be the left against the right and the Mexicans, because they've sent an army into this country. If every illegal immigrant was carrying a weapon, it would be an invading army, but they just march across and vote because the left lets them. That's my say. Comment. Put your 2 cents worth in. Pick a fight. Tell me I'm wrong. Enjoy spirited debate. And of course, like me and share me. Donate at theluckypuppy.net and be my patron, please.